come to you, Andrew. Andrew, you've been working with military families against the war. We've heard how patriotism, how support for the troops is very much used to justify supporting the war in Afghanistan, despite the fact there are now more and more individual soldiers coming out saying they don't want to be fighting in Afghanistan. What's your experience been actually working with these families? What kind of individual stories have you come across?
Well, what I find is that the families and the soldiers themselves are better informed than the politicians think them to be. They know the reasons, the real reasons that have been expressed by Tony and Chris about why they have been sent to Afghanistan, and they see clearly that the dishonesty of the whole situation. So what soldiers like Joe Glenton and Paul McGurk and others say is we all know that while they're vilifying the Taliban and egging us on in that war, they're also secretly negotiating with the Taliban. They also know the history of what's happened in Afghanistan, in the sense that they know the fact that British involvement in Afghanistan has always been a tragedy and that it is an unwinnable war. So these are the soldiers these are the stories that the soldiers and their families bring to us, and this is the background to their opposition to the war.
Well, of course, many politicians and commentators can have their war of words, but ultimately it is these young men and women who are putting themselves on the line. We know about the civilian casualties, the civilian deaths ranging right into the hundreds of thousands, but we can't forget that actually British troops are losing their lives. What do you think about the fact that there's a report out recently that there are 20,000 ex-soldiers now actually in British prisons?
That's true, yeah, they form 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 of the British prison population, and they also have high levels of homelessness, joblessness after they leave the army, other problems, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, we've worked with soldiers who have been very badly affected by both wars in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and this is clear. And Lance Corporal Joe Glenton, who's the soldier who led the demonstration on Saturday and who has taken this incredibly brave stand, has, as I said earlier, found himself to be quite popular in his own barracks. And today, an officer came to him and said to him, "You've said, Joe, what the rest of us feel. You've spoken out on our behalf." And I think that really is a breakthrough in this campaign.
So would it be an accurate comment to say that Military Families Against the War as an organisation is not against soldiers but very much in support of them?
Of course, we do support the soldiers in many different ways. We try and find them legal representation, but also we're very sensitive about the experiences that they've gone through, and many of them come out of the army as quite damaged